In the dead of night, I was speeding down a desolate country road, my expression tense and worried. Half an hour earlier, I had received a call from my family saying my grandmother was critically ill. I immediately left the dinner during my business trip and headed home. The darkness was pitch black, scattered lights in the darkness providing the only comfort. As the night deepened, fatigue and dryness began to torment me. Just as I was getting irritated by the thirst and heat, a lonely convenience store by the roadside caught my eye. Its lights, shining like a lighthouse, guided me. I decided to stop, go in, buy a bottle of drink to quench my thirst, and then hit the road again. The convenience store looked quite ordinary, making it hard to associate it with such a deserted place. As I stepped inside, the doorbell's jingle was particularly jarring in the quiet of the night. The air inside was filled with an odd mix of disinfectant and a stale smell which was quite unpleasant. It was eerily quiet around without a store clerk in sight. I could sense the temperature inside dropping unnaturally, penetrating my clothes and prickling my skin, causing me to shiver involuntarily even though it was a hot summer night outside. The store's lighting was off. Each bulb, though lit, cast a dim and unclear light, with some corners so dark it appeared as if the light was avoiding them. The indistinct dark stains on the floor seemed like stubborn blood after countless attempts to clean them. The goods were arranged with an obsessive level of tidiness. As I mumbled to myself, I noticed that the cartoon characters on the snack packaging had exaggerated smiles and eyes that followed me wherever I went. I shook my head trying to rid myself of these creepy illusions and walked to the drink section and grabbed a bottle of drink from the fridge. Right when I opened the fridge door, I could have sworn I heard a low moan, but when I turned around, I was still alone in the store. Everything here reminded me that both my body and spirit were extremely exhausted. Luckily, the checkout process was mundane. I placed the money, the cash register beeped in confirmation, followed by the digits appearing on the screen. An eerie self-service interaction in the silent and vast night. Anxious, I unscrewed the bottle cap, eagerly anticipating the cool soda rushing down my throat. But the fantasy abruptly ended. The bottle was empty. Confusion reigned in my mind. How was this possible? Did I just buy an empty bottle? With suspicion and dissatisfaction, I held the bottle up to the dim light of the store, seeking an explanation. What I saw made my heart stop. An eyeball was sitting inside the bottle, staring right at me. Fear swept over me. The eye was lifeless. Its cold depth seemed to pierce into my soul. What happened next was beyond comprehension. As I stared in shock, the eye began to flicker with an ominous glow, followed by numerous thin black hairs emerging from the bottle like living things. These hairs grew quickly, wrapping around my wrist and neck in silence and haste. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out, as if an invisible force had sealed my voice. I struggled, realizing I was being bound by these lifelike hairs, so tightly that I started to have difficulty breathing. As the dark strands tightened, my vision began to spin, blurring everything. The convenience store in the dead of night silently witnessed this scene. If you ask how I survived, I can't give you an answer. Perhaps I never entered that store, or maybe I'm still trapped in that entanglement of hair, never to leave.